Really? Not yet. You want me to switch my ring?
Hey guys, he's going to be, the main presentation is going to be right here. He's going to be showing animals right here. So some of you back there might want to move this way or turn face this way. It's going to be a good day.
I'm not sitting up there.
How many have been here before? Cool. So the other half haven't been here before, or wouldn't raise your hand no matter what I said? How many haven't been here before? All right, about half and half. That's pretty cool. Hey guys, welcome to Ocoee Riverside Farm. We are primarily an experiential lodging farm. This is the kind of place where you can stay here and play here. But this is the 3 days out of the year, the 3 days out of twice in the year that we do homeschool days. We were a homeschool family when I had young kids at home. I have 10 kids, they're all grown. Mine range from 38 down to 20, 21, 38 down to 21, Michael just turned. And all of my kids were homeschooled for all or part of it. Half of mine are adopted from Ukraine, so we were homeschooling in various languages for a little while there. And that was really tricky and fun and awful and exciting. And so now here we are many years later, wanting to support our homeschool communities. And so this is a 3-day event. We've got a 1-day gap in the middle because unexpectedly, you all got an email that we are unexpectedly traveling to receive an award because we were just voted the #1 small business in the tourism industry for the state of Tennessee. And so we're going up to get our award from the governor on Thursday, and we'll be back here to do the 3rd day of this on Friday. So today we have Radical Reptiles and Feathered Friends, and we're very lucky to have our friend Brad the Ranger here, who has brought some of the park's collection of Radical Reptiles and Feathered Friends. And he's going to start in just a minute here. I'm going to go over just a couple of simple basic rules. One, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. So if we say you can pet an animal and you're like, yeah, not so much, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But it's only fair that same for the animal. The animal doesn't have to do anything the animal doesn't want to do. So if an animal happens to be running away from you, please don't chase it. Next thing, which is just a personal pet peeve of mine, for if somebody was going to scratch you or rub you or something, you want them to be like on your back or your belly or something like that. You want to be like this. You know? So I'd say 90% of everyone who goes to pet an animal sticks their hand straight in their face. I'm like, why do you do that? I just can't get my head around that one. So, you know, please pet an animal anywhere except their face. And just remember, you don't want people really sticking their fingers in your nose either. There are various animals inside of pens and cages and crates. Please don't stick your hands through bars or pens or cages. The animals that are behind bars are there for a reason. So like, you know, if you stick your finger into a porcupine's cage, that could go poorly. And other of our animals, it's for health reasons. If you have a cat at home and you pet a cat and then a kangaroo, the kangaroo can die from that. So when we ask you to use the hand sanitizer, please be extra careful to do that when we get down to the exotic farm where the kangaroos are. They are extremely sensitive to toxoplasmosis, which is what cats can carry. It exists in the flesh of mice and rats, therefore it can exist in the waste of cats. That's why pregnant women ought not to scoop a cat litter box. But for pregnant ladies, that becomes an effect at about 15,000 parts per million. For kangaroos, that is a problem at 5 parts per million. So if you have a cat, please be extra careful to use the hand sanitizer when we get into the exotic farm. Don't open gates that are closed. Don't close gates or doors that are open. And if you need the restroom at any point while you're here, in the other barn up there, it's the red door that says private. In this barn, it's the door that says restroom on it. Clever disguise. And you don't have to ask me. I'm not the teacher. You can go to the bathroom if you need to. And with no further ado, we're going to get on to our friend Brad, the park ranger. Let's give him a cheer.
How are you guys? Good. Mr. Warner said, my name is Brad Hamby. I'm a state park ranger on the Ocoee River. I've been a ranger for 23 years now. I'm from the area, so I got to come back home. Real quick, before we start with the animals, what do you guys think I do on a day-to-day basis?
You just go to parks and range them.
That's a pretty good answer. Ranger means one who ranges. So, you guys see, we're law enforcement. We have to deal with arresting people, writing citations. Mainly, my job involves rescues, search and rescues. So one day I could be head of a search and rescue team. The next day I could be a plumber, fixing a water line that's broke. So it varies like a huge amount from one side to the other. So when I started, they started really pushing outdoor education, and I am scared to death to speak in public, by the way. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. The other guys were like, absolutely not, we're not doing that. So I was like, can I get captive animal permit? Like, sure. I thought that was just you fill out a paper, turn it in, and you get a permit. No, it's not a chance. It took me about 2 years to get all our permits. Basically, I had to volunteer at a zoo, a nature center, someone who has native animals, and you get to see the day-to-day care of them. They're not like a dog or a cat, like it's completely different care, completely different needs. Their enclosures are very, very specific. Yeah. But it took roughly about 2 years, volunteering hours, and then getting our permits. So I have birds of prey permits and mammals, or reptiles and amphibians. Real quick, the snakes I've got, these guys are native to Tennessee, so I can only have native animals for the state. And again, that's why there's such strict permits on some of these guys that don't allow you guys to have them, if that makes sense. And you guys will see with the birds real quick. We'll do the snakes first.
So his place is kind of the opposite of our place. They can only have native animals. We can't have native animals. So there's 5 classes of animals that range from inherently dangerous to people in the environment to regular animals to dogs and cats. And we're mainly exotic animals here. The reason why they don't want everybody just owning animals that are native to the environment where they are from is they don't want people just going out and catching all the wild animals and, you know, making them live as captive pets. Because before you know it, you'll run out of captive animals. That's a huge problem down in Central and South America, where everybody's taking all the sloths out of the wild now. So that's kind of the difference why the park ranger comes out here to help us out with the radical reptiles and feathered friends, is I cannot have a red-tailed hawk and an owl and, you know, some things like that. He cannot have things like an African crested porcupine and a sloth and an armadillo. So between the two of us, pretty much can get most of the animals covered. He's going to start showing you some animals now.
And like Mr. Werner said, like we can't just go out in the wild and catch. So there's certain businesses we can purchase them from, and breeders, stuff like that. People that get tired of taking care of them, that they just took in as a pet, got too big or whatever, and they can call us and we can take certain species. This is a corn snake, or they're now called red rat snakes. As you can see, it is not even close to being red, what a normal color corn snake is. So they can come in a few different colors, but this guy is like green gray. So usually they're the burnt orange, kind of a reddish tint to them. By far the most common snake we have in Tennessee. They're called corn snakes. If you guys can see his belly, I'll try to walk you around. So their bellies, their stomachs look like Indian corn or ornamental corn. So that's how these guys got their name.
You can just say rafting. I'm good.
Like I said, most common snake we have in Tennessee. What do you guys think he eats? What do you think his diet consists of?
Maybe corn? Corn, yeah.
Snakes eat that a lot.
Rodents and insects?
Yep, absolutely. So our smaller native snakes, they'll eat insects. These guys like mice. So he's a little bigger now. He'll eat about 3 mice every week. In the summertime, we feed him every week. And then just to kind of mimic seasons for these guys, because they are in captivity. But once we get into cold weather months, they'll eat maybe twice a month, something like that. And these guys, he's a decent size, full grown. These guys can get around 6 feet, somewhere in that range. And they have a long lifespan, probably 20 years or so, something like that.
What should you do if you see that snake in the wild?
No.
Oh no, we're getting
Yeah, rat snakes, they probably get rat snakes.
Can you pick up water snakes?
So, funny thing with the water snakes, so as a defense mechanism, they're gonna, if you get too close to them, stop touching them, whatever, they're gonna musk. So it's a nasty smell, it smells like garbage. Comes through their scales, and it's basically, if he thinks it's another animal trying to eat him, that's gonna get that animal to leave him alone, because it smells absolutely terrible. But the water snake, you pick them up, they'll musk, and then they also poop on them. And what's that gonna make you do? So funny story. So when sorry.
I was gonna ask, is there any problem with relocating them, and how many babies do they have?
Clutch can be a lot, and it just varies. I won't say like 20, something like that. But I may be wrong on that. But no, relocating them is not an issue.
So where do you keep this one here?
He stays in our office, in our park visitor center.
It's a visitor center, good see.
They're locked up. They're locked up. So, funny story, when I was in school, umpteen years ago, so they always used to tell us the venomous snakes in Tennessee, they have cat eyes, or diamond-shaped eyes. Why in the world would they tell us that? Because you're going to have to get right here. So these guys have round pupils, just like we do, the non-venomous. So that's an easy way to tell, but don't do that. They all bite. They all bite. But he has just dozens and dozens of teeth. They're small. I mean, it's like, if he bites you, it's like a pinch. No, the bigger guys, yeah, that's gonna hurt. Yep. So this guy, I've had him for 3 years now. This is a hognose snake. Again, pretty common in Tennessee. You guys see his color pattern? Really bright. That's very close to the color pattern of a rattlesnake or a copperhead. So most of the non-venomous snakes, their head is going to be the same width as their body. It's pretty easy to tell. Our venomous snakes, they're pit vipers, so they have the bigger diamond-shaped head. It's probably at least twice as wide as their body, if that makes sense. And in their coloring, that's an easy way to tell these guys. I say that the hognose has a diamond-shaped head. He's got a bigger head, and he will flatten it out and make himself look super scary. He will audibly hiss. Like a king cobra is the only other snake that will audibly hiss out loud. That's just to scare prey away. Like I said, he'll flatten his head out and you see his nose. Kind of like a shovel nose, right? So this guy burrows just constantly. So he has a pretty large enclosure, and we look for him for 20 minutes every time we have to get him out. Because he will burrow under everything. There's a mat in the bottom, he'll burrow under that. Just what they do. So this guy actually does have fangs. So he has fangs in the very back of his mouth. What do you guys think the fangs are used for? What do you think he eats? You will. So this guy, frogs and toads. If he was in the wild, that's going to be his. Like I said, he'll flatten the head out if something comes close to him to try to scare them away. The animal or the person who keeps coming closer, touches him, makes a loud noise, this guy will roll over and play dead for about 3 minutes. Like he will completely run over. He'll just act like he's dead. If it's a predator, they're going to look at that and they're going to walk off and look for something else to eat.
How big can that guy get?
About 3 feet. So they're smaller, but they will have a big body. They'll have a large body, but they're a lot shorter than, say, a corn snake or rat snake. Like I said, he digs constantly, burrows, looking for frogs and toads. So he has the fangs in the rear of his mouth. So once that, if he catches one, they blow their body up, uses those fangs to puncture his food, and then he gets one. This guy reptile bite. The corn snake's more of a constrictor. So he'll wrap his body around the rat or mice or mouse that he catches. Basically what they do. Tennessee. The rat snakes can get 6 to 7 feet. So, I'm from here. Once I got out of school, I took a job in Kingsport, Northeast Tennessee. Moved in, my park manager said, "Hey, you have a huge snake that lives under your house." My wife was like, "Hey, no, we're leaving." So the house had a dirt basement for storage area. They're like, "Oh yeah, he just hangs out in there." So we go in one day, just being nosy, and finding like absolutely huge snake skins. It's like, oh man, he wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. About a week later, I get called back to the house from my wife saying, "Get here now." She's got the dogs, the cats, everything else out in the yard. The snakes on the porch. And just absolutely massive. So I had to get another worker, and we caught it and just grabbed a tape measure. He was 7 feet 9 inches long. I've never seen a rat snake anywhere near that size. Our house was in the middle of a golf course, so it's big open fields, prime habitat for rats, mice, rabbits, anything he wanted to eat. And obviously that one ate very, very well. Yeah. Yeah. Scary. Don't know. I mean, I could take him to a vet and they can do testing, but we usually don't want to do that. And they're not housed together. They all have to be housed separately. Guys have any more questions for the snake? We are not allowed any longer to have headless snakes. Some of our parks used to have it. Yeah, no thanks on that.
So if a snake bit you, what should you do?
Non-venomous, alcohol pad, clean it very, very good, let it air out. And that's about all you have to do. Just so it doesn't get infected. You're going to need to call 911. And so, I think Murphy, from us, in this area, Murphy, North Carolina, and Erlanger are the two that carry venom. That's where you would be probably from too.
And the worst thing you can do if a poison snake bites you is panic. All it does is elevate your heart rate, move everything around quicker. The most dangerous thing you could do if a poisonous snake bit you would be to cut yourself or put a tourniquet on or anything like that. Because all of those things are far more likely to damage you than the poison from any snake in Tennessee. We are not out in West Texas with diamondback rattlers and stuff like that that are going to really, really hurt you. Most of them, they're just going to bite you just so you will get away from them. So when the snake bites you, you know, it only has a certain amount of venom, and it's not going to just pump all of its venom into you because it needs it to protect itself. All it wants to do is get away from you. And if a snake is coming toward you and you're afraid, guess how fast a snake can move? Like over distance, not as fast as you can walk. So this is how you run away from a snake. And that'll get it done right there.
They're not going to chase you.
That is all the running you need if you see a snake. All right, so what are these kind of animals Warm-blooded or cold-blooded?
Cold-blooded.
What does that mean?
Temperature of the heat controls how fast they move.
That's true. That's not really what it means, but that is true. So if it's really cold out, the snake moves really slowly. If it's really warm out, the snake can move faster. But what does it mean to be cold-blooded? Go ahead.
They have to like stand in the sun, to like warm up their body.
Right, I'm sure you can tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
they can't generate body heat like we do. So those guys, sunny day, they're gonna come out. You guys see them on the roads all the time. There's a reason. That asphalt gets very, very hot. So they'll sit out there for a while until they're warm enough. They'll go back to the shade.